Being an Indian girl in 2024 is not a monolithic identity. It has a lot of layers of tapestry and culture and traditions and languages that come together after having been brought up in a country like India, after having been given the education that we get while being in India. I've been living outside of India for a very long time, and each time I meet someone new, the first question that I get asked is, where are you from? And when I say India, I get all kinds of questions. Well, are you sure you're from India? Are you really from India? Okay. All the stereotypes that come together is because there's this belief that a person from India is supposed to talk a particular way or look a particular kind, or, believe in a certain way of being, they have to have some kind of a very traditionalist school of thought. And all these stereotypes just vanish away when you meet a woman of India from today. So what does it mean to be an Indian woman in 2024? What does it mean to being a modern Indian woman, a contemporary Indian woman in 2024? Now, first we need to really go down to the basics of it. Let's go back to the theory of Simone de Beauvoir, the French writer and the feminist icon from back in the day. She had said that women are like the other. She had written widely about women in fiction at that point, and her main theory was like women are the other. So the main is the man, right? The main person over here is the man. The main gender over here is the man, and the second gender, the subordinate gender that comes, is the woman. Her theory was obviously looking for, equality, as feminism always does, but it was also highlighting the flaws in our social structure, in the way we identify as women, as the other. Every time you have a man and you say she is his significant other, women became the other, being the other, othering, while the main is the man. Whatever he does is the main thing. So when we are trying to say the traditional woman versus the contemporary modern woman, we are just women at the end of the day. I, as an Indian woman in today's time and age, being from this generation, being a millennial Indian woman, or let's even put more labels to it, or let's even put more filters to it, being a modern Indian contemporary woman, or a contemporary modern Indian woman in 2024, there are a lot of things that come with it. I do carry with me a lot of my traditional values, which I will never let go as an Indian being born in India. It could be something as simple as when I meet someone who's elder to me, I would give them the respect. It could be because I went to a school in India where I had friends who were from every region in India. The multiculturalism came automatically being from India. So I had friends, or I grew up with languages. There were more than 7 different languages being spoken in the school because all of my friends came from different regions. Be it that, or be it at the same time celebrating one another's traditions, one another's cultures, different types of cuisines, and celebrating each and every person's religion at the same time. From India is celebrating Christmas, celebrating Diwali, celebrating Eid, celebrating Easter, celebrating everything, because we have grown up in a multicultural environment. We have grown up in different cultures. Being from India is being that plural self, embracing plurality, embracing beauty in diversity. From school, we were trained in that. So even though we went to English schools, so even though we did our educations in English, we were still taught Hindi, we were still taught Marathi. And my friends who are Gujarati or Jain or Punjabi or Muslim or Sikh, right? All of them spoke different languages. So we grew up in an environment filled with beautiful tapestry of plurality. So today, as an Indian girl, being in Spain or Italy before, when I was living, it comes very naturally for me to blend into another culture, be it for their ways of being, or also be it for languages. I speak 6 to 7 different languages. For me, picking up Italian or Spanish was not very difficult, because being in India, being an Indian, being surrounded by so many different languages, it automatically came easier to me. Being an Indian woman in 2024 does not mean that we let go of our roots. I stick very strongly, I stick very close to my roots, and my roots would be my Indian cultural heritage, or the morals and values that India has taught me. An Indian woman in 2024 also means embracing my identity, my Indian identity, with my millennial modern identity. You can see me wearing a shirt, but you can also see me wearing a traditional kurta or a traditional choli from time to time. At the same time, you would most likely see a modern Indian woman or an Indian woman in today's time and age blending the Indian cultural heritage with modernity with such ease. It would be, maybe I'm wearing an ajrak dupatta made from the villages in Gujarat, or it could be the bandhani, or it could be the bandhani top that I would be wearing paired up with any kinds of jeans. Being an Indian woman in 2024 means she's very independent, of course, but at the same time, she has a very different career path. We don't always become doctors or engineers or lawyers, although I am doing a degree in law. It's my second degree in law, but I am primarily an entrepreneurial designer. I have my own business. So being an Indian girl in 2024 is someone who is very entrepreneurial, who has her own business or has her own dreams and wishes, and is not limited to a particular box that has been made for her back in time, right? She has to be the significant other. No, we all have our independent careers. She has to be a doctor or an engineer or any of that. No, we can be creatives as well, and we can also have a business of our own. Being an Indian girl in 2024 is charting her own path and doing whatever feels right for her. Being an Indian girl in 2024 is not a singular identity, for understanding that we have to go down to the intersectionality of it all, be it the gender, be it the ethnicity, be it the class. All of these things have to be evaluated or taken into consideration when you describe of your definition of what an Indian girl in 2024 is supposed to be. Being an Indian girl in 2024 can also mean navigating different gender dynamics, be it, well, I'll give you one example. I have a business of construction and interior design in the small islands of Spain, and over there on a daily basis I tend to deal with, or I work with men of all different ages, men of all different nationalities, and there comes a point where I have to navigate the different egos of men taking orders from a woman who is also the youngest in the room, from a woman who is not predominantly European, from a woman who comes from a very different ethnicity. So there comes a point where I've had to develop my own way of navigating and creating this kind of an environment which is healthy yet uplifting each other without keeping these barriers in mind, although they are still existent. There comes a point when men, regardless of what ethnicity, what social class, or what nationality or what country you come from, one thing is that the men always look at would be the gender. So I've had my struggles of trying to figure out a way to communicate with them, but also to get the work done, because I am the boss and they are the people who are on my team. But I never tend to assert the fact that I'm the boss or you the boss, or you are working for me, I'm working for you, we're all working together. And being an Indian girl in 2024 is to create your own path, your own way of working, your own way of asserting the kind of work culture that you want to create, and not follow what's been told to you from ages before. Because being an Indian girl in 2024, she leads, she asserts with equality, empathy, and a lot of emotional intelligence. Being an Indian girl in 2024 is always and always, be it 2024, be it 1994, be it 2050, whatever the year it would always be embracing community and keeping the people of all cultures together and embracing that, support each other. And community should always be existent and nurtured to be able to flourish together as a whole collective. There have been many stereotypes that I've always been showered with. The first would be my name. Every time someone asks, understands or tries to pronounce my name, they get it wrong. And when I do explain to them, okay, it's an Indian name and it means desire and all of that, there comes another layer of, oh, are you from India? But you don't look very Indian. Oh, you don't have a typical Indian accent. Oh, but your way of thinking is not really the way I thought an Indian girl would be. Or be it when I'm hiring people for doing carpentry work, or for getting construction work done. Many a times when I have to take different teams, for different projects of different lengths and different time frames, speaking to all the construction workers in Spanish or Italian, it's always some of them who are from different parts of Spain, or maybe let's say usually who are from Latin America. I've got this question, but okay, oh, you're from India, oh, you Hindu, oh, you're from India, we've not had very good experiences with this is this, or this is that, right? Because, so I'm like, okay, again, you're stereotyping. You're putting me into a box of an experience that you've had for 2 minutes or over a period of time with someone, and again, you're putting me, who you don't even know, into this whole box. So stereotyping is another thing that we have to really stop, because no one is same. And when I speak about India's diversity, India is a huge country. You will find people from different places in India, different regions of India, who look completely different, who speak completely different languages, who speak in completely different tones, and accents as well, which is why India is known as one of the most diverse and plural countries. If you go to the South, if I go to the South, for example, I will not be speaking to them in Hindi. I will be speaking to them in English, because they speak their own languages. If I go to Gujarat, they will be speaking in their own languages. If they come to Bombay, they will be speaking in their own different languages. That is the beauty of being from India, because you will always find diversity, beauty in diversity. Being an Indian girl would always mean hospitality and simple empathy for anyone around you. Would it be someone who's come to your house to fix a bulb? You would still offer them water. Would it be someone who's come to give water to in your house? We would still offer them chai or coffee. It would be something as simple as respect for elders. I had in one of the projects, I had hired an elderly carpenter who was the age of my grandfather. I've never really had a grandfather, so when he was on my team, initially I felt a little bad to call him by his name, because in India we don't call elders by their names. So I would always address him as Señor Martin, and not like Martin as everyone was addressing him. So it became like a kind of, an interesting thing for everyone to see me, the one who is like the only one who's calling him Señor Martin, and I'm the one who's hired all of them. And they were like, you don't have to call me Señor Martin. And I'm like, no, but this project has been such a huge success because of your expertise and because of your skill, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so happy that you're a part of it. And it's impossible for me to call you by your name, because I want to also give you that respect. In my culture, we do that. 2024. Being an Indian girl in 2024 would also mean reading the room by not speaking at all. Reading the room by understanding through your facial expressions or your tone or the way you are responding in the simplest terms, in the simplest ways, by just reading your movements, your gestures, your tone, or it could also be, agreeing or disagreeing with my facial expressions, with my eyes. We are very expressive people. We are very animated people, as you can see. I am a Kathak dancer. I have been trained in Bharatanatyam. That does not have to do anything with this, but we are used to speaking with our eyes, being very expressive, and using our hands in a normal conversation when we have to. It's a diverse identity. Living in India, growing up in a different culture of living in India, growing up in a culture with mixed and infused with different languages, different cuisines, from the north to the south, to the northeast, to the northwest, each region with its own history, with its own beauty, with its own complications, with its own culture. It gives me, as an Indian woman, a modern Indian woman of today, the base, the education that I got while I was young, to be able to blend into a culture when I have to be able to learn a language like Spanish or Italian with ease, to be able to, navigate different work cultures, understanding where they come from, where I come from, and understanding to find a common ground many a times in conflicts as well. Being an Indian girl in 2024 means embracing your own path, defining your own path, breaking stereotypes left, right, and center, and most importantly, breaking that glass ceiling that's been built for women in all. Of like, okay, you're an Indian girl, you're very shy, you won't probably be dating, you're probably just gonna get married to a boy your parents are going to pick for you all. It's really not how it works in all Indian families. Arranged marriages still work, arranged marriages still exist, but not all Indian families or not Indian girls are like that. My parents have never forced me to get into a marriage or date anyone. They've been very happy. They're very happy with, as far as I'm independent, healthy, and flourishing in my own life path, whatever I chart that is. They are happy with that. Stereotypes about, how Indian girls are shy, they would not be dating another guy. For that, let me just tell you one thing. Darling, my country created Kama Sutra. So there's a lot that you can learn from us. One thing that I'd like to tell women in general, whoever, not Indian, from any culture, any ethnicity, is to just really embrace what you are. Don't ever let go of your roots. Be so proud of where you come from. Be so proud of what your heritage lies in. Be so proud of where you are now and the journey that you have created for yourself. Don't ever conform to the stereotypes society has built for you in your country or outside your country. And if there are stereotypes that have been created for you because you come from a particular place outside of your country when you're living, make sure to voice that this stereotype does not belong to the person that you are. This stereotype does not fit into the image that they have created for you. Make sure to voice your opinion each and every time. Don't be silent if you ever feel that you are being put into a box, because the box is limiting you as a person, as a woman, and a woman cannot ever be limited. So break that box, break that glass ceiling. Always embrace the person that you are. We make mistakes, we are constantly growing, and just be proud of wherever you are, whatever stage you are, navigating culture, navigating sexuality, navigating careers, navigating relationships, be it whatever, and wherever you are. Be sure to embrace who you are, the way you are.